Hi, welcome to the first of the Pilates videos. So it is a half hour. I do plan to do it as almost like an introductory. So rather than kind of pick up where I left off with the people who've been coming for a couple of years, sorry guys, or maybe fortunately for you guys, we're going to be a little bit more gentle today just to introduce people to Pilates, but also to get you guys back into it because I know it's been a couple of weeks now, and even for me, if I haven't practiced Pilates for a little while, it really hurts when I come back in. So we'll try to start a little bit more friendly and ease back into it, and hopefully the plan is to get a little bit progressively more challenging as we go. So, and then once we've got all 8 videos up, then you can just choose which ones you want to do. So this one is a little bit of an all-over general and just an introductory thing. Cool. So we might actually start, if you've got a mat or just nice carpet or a towel, if you don't need any other equipment, just come down onto the ground. And so the idea is to roll down onto your back, and the feet are on the floor about hip distance apart. So they're not tucked in really close to your bottom. They're stepped out where it's just quite comfortable to be. So we're just going to start working with some Pilates terms and just starting to get a feel for what's going on in the body. So if you bring your hands onto the front hip bones, so you feel the hip bones at the front, bring your fingertips just inside that. So you're pressing down just inside the hip bones. So don't push so hard that it's uncomfortable, but you just want to be firmly pressing down. Now from there, think about pulling those hip bones towards each other. They're not actually going to move, but if you engage the muscles as if that's what you're trying to do, you'll feel the muscles switch on underneath you. And these muscles are the transverse abdominis muscles. So these are your key core muscles, or one of the key core muscles. So rectus abdominis, which are the six-pack muscles, the ones that you work when you're doing crunches, they're the most superficial and the least stabilizing of the core muscles. So we really want to engage those transverse abdominis, so really pull those hip bones towards each other. You'll feel that switch on. Okay, then we engage through the pelvic floor. So you can keep the fingertips inside those hip bones and think of it as if you were trying to stop yourself peeing midstream, or okay, this is going to sound really crude, but guys, as if you're trying to pull your balls up towards your belly button, that kind of action, you're pulling up towards the center of the body, not towards the ceiling. Pull that. So you should actually feel something switch on again underneath those fingertips. That's not your pelvic floor switching on, but the fact that you feel that, there's these synergistic muscles, and that's telling you that the pelvic floor is switching on. So in Pilates, we call it the T-zone. So we've got the pulling up and in. So that's when, if I talk about the T-zone, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pelvic floor and transverse abdominis, those muscles. So it's important to try and keep them engaged as much as you can as we move, because they're your key to support and stability in taking care of the spine. So more so than having a six-pack. So from here, now we engage. So we try not to use the bottom to do this. We inhale. Then as you exhale, pull the lower back towards the floor. So you think of your pelvis tilting, those hip bones that you just had your hands on tilting towards the floor. And then as you exhale, push those hip bones away from the ribs, really pull down through the tailbone, and you're really exaggerating the curve in the lumbar spine. So we inhale, curl it in, so your hip bones move towards the ground, the tailbone towards the ceiling, and then exhale, switch it over. So you're just going from a really imprinted spine, so you're imprinting that lower back towards the floor, and then the exaggerated curve. So you're switching between the two, and if you are not sure if you're using your glutes or your bottom to make that happen, you can put your hands on your butt, like you're probably at home, no one's around, it's okay. So just check in and make sure that that's not activating as you do this, because we want to actually engage the abs to make this movement happen. So it's just kind of a shifting and a tilting of the pelvis to imprint and release. One more. And then find that neutral. So most of us, for neutral, there'll be a little bit of an arch in the lower back. So you could almost slide your hand under, but it's not going to be fully engaged. So we're not quite imprinting, we're not completely arched. Bring the feet towards each other, so glue those feet together. Keep the hands on the hips, we inhale. Then exhale, let the knees move away from each other. Keep the big toes on the ground. Don't let the hips roll around. So we inhale, come back in, and exhale to take the knees wide. Inhale back in, and exhale, knees away from each other. So be really steady through the pelvis, so nothing really changes. There's no change through that lower back. There's no rolling around through the hips. And in. And we just do 5 more. So starting to wake up the inner thighs, start to wake up the glutes a little, but more so engaging that T-zone, keeping that switched on so that the pelvis doesn't roll around. So 2 more. Take it wide, and in, and out, and in. Good, now we inhale, keep the hands on the hips, keep that T-zone switched on. Exhale, let right leg go wide, but the left leg doesn't move. So the chances are good it's going to want to skew off to the left to kind of compensate for that movement. We're not going to let it, so that stays really still. The hips don't get to roll around and come with the leg, so it doesn't matter how big that movement is, it's all about control. So with Pilates, it is about control. We're alternating legs, so then we keep the right leg still, hips still, left leg goes as wide as you can control. So it's all about your own personal range of motion and how much strength you have to control it, more so than the size of the movement. So Pilates, we're not gunning for hyper flexibility, we're just going with our range of motion and control. Because often in Pilates, as you'll find as you go do these, it's actually the smaller movements that are the harder movements. So the bigger ones, we get a bit more momentum and it's less control, and that makes it easier. So we're gunning for control. So alternating legs, we inhale in, exhale, take the knee out, inhale in, exhale, take it wide. So alternating, keeping the pelvis still, keeping everything else still. It's literally just the leg moving. And we just do 1 more each side. Relax the shoulders, keep breathing too. Then coming back to center, nice. Then we take the feet back to hip distance apart. We inhale, and this time as you exhale, still keeping that neutral spine, exhale, extend your right leg out along the mat without letting it quite touch the floor. So it's only just like 1 inch or so off. Inhale to bring it back up, and exhale, switch, extend that left leg out. Inhale, come back. So again, T-zone is switched on, not letting anything change through the body, not letting the hips roll around as you move the legs. So just check in with that control. And we're not going for speed either. So speed and big movements tend to allow for momentum. And we're going to try and cut the momentum out of it and really control it. Inhale in, exhale, extend. Inhale, draw it in, plant the foot, and exhale, extend. So you're alternating legs, ground, keep those hips still, keep that spine neutral. Good. And we do 1 more each side. Plant and reach. Good, then coming back in, we inhale, lift 1 leg up into tabletop, and exhale, bring the other leg. So from here, you can either be imprinted, because some of us it's much more comfortable to be imprinted here, so you can feel that lower back pressing towards the ground, or you may still have a little arch. But either way, whatever is comfortable and whatever you start with, you're going to try and maintain that. Okay, so we're moving the legs once more, but this time we're keeping the bend in the knee. So you're not trying to change or extend the leg. So we inhale, then exhale, lower the right foot towards the ground without changing at the knee. The knee still stays at 90 degrees, and it just moves towards the ground, only going as low as you can control, and then inhale, bring it back up. So the exhale, is to lower it. So you're alternating feet, inhale to come back up. So be careful as you lower. That lower back is really going to want to pop up and arch. So we try to keep that imprint. And it doesn't matter if the toes touch the ground or not. We're heading that direction. But if you lose control, so it's like, great, I touched the ground, but this is all popped and the ribs have fled, then you've lost all connection to your core and you're not actually working the core anymore. So you see, it's not about the size of the movement, it's about that control. So lower it towards the floor. If they touch, great. If they don't, they don't. It's fine. So let's just practice and waking up that core. and not allowing the hips to roll around side to side. So you're just slowly moving one, then the other. Now, so you can stay with this option, or if you want to challenge your brain a little, it's going to challenge the core a little bit more, but it's also going to challenge the brain a little bit more. So from here, you can either just keep the hands reaching towards the ceiling and still move the legs. That's one option. Then if you really want to go for the brain fry, we inhale, exhale, left foot, left leg, and right arm. So the right arm reaches over your head, left foot towards the ground. Inhale to come back up. Then exhale, right leg, left arm. But the other two limbs aren't moving. So two limbs are perfectly still, then opposite arm and leg are moving. So still being really careful to not let the hips roll around as you move, to not let those ribs flare. There's no change in that lower back. So all of that is still well and truly controlled as you move. Slowly, slowly, control. And you can either use the arms, add them on, or not. It depends where you are. So you have two more each side. Try to make sure you're even side to side. And one more each side. Or however many more it means for you to be even. Good, then we inhale, come back up. Then exhale, hug the knees into the chest. And just roll side to side, rock around a little. And then from there, we bring the legs back into a tabletop. So we just work the obliques a little, gluing the knees together, gluing the feet together, the arms reach out to the side. So we glue those shoulders to the floor, we inhale. Then exhale, lower the knees towards the left, but only go as far as you can control those legs before the knees want to break apart or that shoulder wants to lift. So you're not quite doing a twist. You are twisting, but you're not going for the deepest twist. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, take the knees towards the right. So again, don't let them come apart. Don't let that shoulder follow. So it's keeping the shoulders steady and exhale. But inhale, come back to center. And exhale to the right. Now check in with the legs. So as we move through this, chances are they're going to want to sneak in towards the body. So it's a lot easier to control the tighter the circle is. So really try to keep hips 90 degrees and knees 90 degrees rather than kind of curl in. If you need to curl in, then do so. Or if you need to just go a little bit smaller, twist. And we just do two more each side. So we inhale to center, exhale to twist. Inhale to center, exhale to twist. One more each side. Inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale and exhale. So then we inhale, come back to center, and exhale to plant the feet. Good. So you bring the arms by the sides. It's a whole lot of laying on your back, isn't it, today? So the feet are hip distance apart once more. Again, not kind of jammed in, so you want to be mindful of your knees. So you want to give the knees enough room to breathe. Plant the feet, arms are by the sides. We inhale, then exhale. Tuck the tailbone under, so really tilt through the pelvis. Slowly peel the hips, peel the spine off the mat. And we're not going for, so some of you are yogis, I know we're not going for a full yoga back bend. That's not where we're headed. Think of it more like a ski jump. So you're one line from your knees, hips, shoulders. So you're not trying to push the chest towards the chin or get a full back bend. You want the body to be long rather than arched. Good, we inhale up the top, then exhale to roll it down. So really try to tuck and plant that spine one vertebra at a time. Good, we inhale at the bottom, exhale, tuck under, slowly peel the spine off. Find that length, that ski jump, inhale, exhale to roll down. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, roll the hips high. Inhale. Then exhale, roll it down. Nice, you take a deep breath in now. Now we add on to that exhale. Slowly roll the hips up. Find that kind of length, that ski jump. Now from here, we inhale, dip the hips just an inch. Press out through the knees, so you're not letting the knees move towards each other. Kind of keep those legs where they are, and exhale to press it back up. So you're really, hopefully, going to start to feel the bottom work here. So it's an inhale just about an inch, exhale to lift. Inhale, dip, exhale, lift. So it's a little lower and a lift. So remember, it's about small, controlled movements. It's not about big momentum movements. So a little dip and lift, dip and lift. We have 7 more, 6. You can press into the ground with the arms if it helps. Good, 4 more. 3, plant those feet. 2, good, and last one. Nice, we inhale to hold at the top, little squeeze, then exhale to roll it down, slowly articulate the spine, come all the way down to the ground. We inhale, we're not finished with those yet. Exhale, slowly roll the hips high. So from here, bring the left foot in just a little towards the right. Inhale, bring the right knee into the chest. Good, then keep the leg there. Exhale, extend. Check in with the hips. Try not to let one drop or lift. Keep it. Inhale, bend that knee. Exhale, extend. It doesn't matter if it's a straight leg or your hamstrings are a little tight, so you're more out to the front. That's all good. Don't panic. And we take 5 more of these. Bend, extend. Hips stay high, so try not to let it all fall towards the ground. 3 more. 2. And last one. Good, hold it high. Challenge that left glute. Hopefully it's the glute. Hopefully it's not too much hamstring. Inhale, little dip of the hips. You can do this with a bent knee or a straight leg. Exhale to lift. Inhale, little dip. Exhale, lift. So it's a lower and lift. Just 8, 7, lift. 6, keep it small. 5, leg is long or bent. 4, 3, 2, good, and last one. Nice inhale, hold. Then exhale, bend that knee, plant the foot. Good, inhale, left leg in, so it gets a nice little break now. Try to keep the pelvis neutral and extend. Inhale, bend that knee. Exhale, lift. Good, so just a bend and then extend. 8 more. Keep those hips high. 7, push into that right foot, squeeze the right butt cheek. Good. 4, press the arms into the ground if you need to. 3, 2, and last one. Good, hold it there or bend the knee. Inhale, little dip of the hips, try to keep them even, and exhale, press up. Little dip and lift, dip and lift. Good, just 8, lift, 7, and up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 more. And last one, nice inhale, hold. Exhale, bend that knee, plant the foot, and then roll the hips down. You're almost there, you've almost made it. Take a deep breath in, and a full breath out. Good, then we inhale. Exhale, roll the hips up. This is the last one. So from here, we inhale, bring that knee into the chest, extend the leg. Try to keep those hips even. Exhale, lower the leg so your thighs get to kind of parallel. Inhale to lift it back up. So even if you've got a little bend in the knee, that's okay. Exhale to lower. Not all of us have flexy hamstrings. Good, and lower. So the important thing is hips stay high, hips stay even. Inhale, lift. Exhale to lower. Good, just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, keep those hips up, 2, and last one, it's the last one. Then you've got to do the other side, then it's finished. Then bend the knee, plant the foot, keep the hips up, left leg in, extend as much as you can. Inhale, keep those hips even. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale to lower. Good. Keep those ribs in. So if you do start to feel it in your lower back, it means you've kind of let it arch rather than keep the ribs in and keep that length. Good, and lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. 6 more. And lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Nice, then bend the knee, plant the foot, and roll it down. Good, then we step the feet as wide as the mat. I know it's tempting to really squeeze the knees into the chest and release that lower back, but a twist is actually a nice way to do that. So we feet as wide as the mat, arms out wide, inhale, then exhale, just lower both knees towards the floor. So the feet are slightly wider than the hips. If you like and your knees are happy with it, you can take the bottom foot, which is ideally the left one, onto the top knee and just encourage that twist. It will give you a nice little length through those obliques. For 4 more breaths, looking back towards the right hand. 3. 2. And last one. So then releasing the foot. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, knees to the right. Good. So then again, you can take that right foot or the bottom foot onto the top knee and just deepen that twist. Look back towards the opposite hand. Just be luxurious about it. Just feel that length through the waist. Try to keep that left shoulder on the ground. And 3 more deep breaths here. 2. Got it. 1 more. And then we release the foot. Inhale to come back to center. As then exhale, extend the legs out on the mat. So I did say it was all over, so we might try for some arms before we finish. I think I've got a few more minutes. So from there, rolling onto one side, you're going to do both sides, so it doesn't matter which side. So you're coming up onto the forearm. So elbow is stacked underneath the shoulder. So your feet, you can take the top foot out in front. You can bend the bottom knee and extend through that top foot. It's your call. So your knee can stay on the ground, or both feet are long, or both, or one out in front of the other. Excuse me. So either way, from here we lift the top hand up. We inhale, then exhale to press the hips up. So the idea is to push into the feet, push into that forearm. Inhale, just a little dip. So depending on how strong you're feeling today, you might dip more towards the ground. Then exhale, press the hips back up. Inhale, little dip. Exhale, press. So remember, it's not about the size of the movement. You've just got 8 more. Make it as big or as little as you can control. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Nice inhale, hold, and exhale to come all the way down. Good. So from there, we will switch sides. So switch whichever way works for you. So again, either stacking the feet, one leg out in front, or bend that bottom knee. So we lift the top hand, so you can just be on that knee if you like. That's all good. So whichever version you're doing, dip the hips towards the ground and press up. Little dip and lift. Just low and press up. So you're kind of engaging through the bottom waist as well as taking care of shoulder and arm. Good for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Nice inhale, hold. Good, then exhale to slowly lower it down. Good. So from there, now we actually come all the way onto the belly. And from here we interlace the fingers. So your pinky fingers will be out. Interlace the fingers, elbows kind of underneath the shoulders, so you've got a little bit of a, actually no, let's do it this way. Come all the way down onto the mat. Good, so from there, come onto the elbows, hands are out in front. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, lift the chest. Good, then from there, start to lift the belly. So you're pushing into those arms, lift the belly. Good, then lift the hips. So you're slowly starting to peel off. Lift the thighs. Good, then tuck the right toes, lift the right knee. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee. Lift up through the center of the chest. Keep breathing here. Push through the heels. Good, 3 more breaths here. 2. And last one. Good, then lower both knees and slowly come down. Come all the way down. Take a deep breath in there and a full breath out. Then coming up onto the elbows once more. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Good, so we lift the chest, lift the ribs off. Then start to peel the belly off the mat. Then start to peel the hip bones off the mat. Peel the thighs off the mat. Then we tuck the left toes, lift the left knee. Tuck the right toes, lift the right knee. Holding it there, 5 breaths. So you're still breathing, hopefully. Push up through the center of the chest. So we try not to let the shoulders collapse. We lift up. 2 more breaths here, still breathing. And last one. Nice, then inhale, take the knees to the ground. Walk the hands towards your knees. So if it is comfortable for you to sit like this, then sit like this. If it's not, then legs are out in front. It doesn't really matter. So the idea is to just sit up tall for a moment. And we inhale to lift the right arm up. And exhale to bend that elbow. So if you can, wrap the left arm around and catch hands behind your back. If that's not going to happen, left hand comes onto that right elbow and just encourage the hand down the back. Try to keep the ribs in. Deep breaths. It's just a little mini moment. Stretch that out. Good. 2 more breaths here. So it doesn't matter whether you're being fancier or not. Whatever works for your body. And 1 more breath here. Good. Then releasing, slowly unwind, shake it out. Then the left arm up, bend that elbow. And again, either right arm around, bind it, or right hand onto that elbow. Just drawing it towards the center. The hand reaches down the back. Deep breaths here. Keep the ribs in. 3 more. 2. Last one. Great, nice. And then we gently release, shake it out, relax the shoulders. Good, then we bring the hands together in front of the heart, sit up tall, relaxing those shoulders. And we just take a little moment in gratitude to the strength and health in our bodies for the time we have to practice. And thanks so much for joining me, and stay tuned for the next one.